Let's see. Paul Ioane, Michael Kovic, Night Out, Phil Lalanga, Bianca, what's up, everybody? Let's wait for a few more to join, especially the person I tagged in this particular one. There he is, Anthony Nalaleo. How do you deal with gatekeepers? This is day 13, and welcome to day 13 of 30 days of live content. Can you guys let me know if you can hear me before I start? Drunken Mondays loaded up, bruv. Michael, let me check my phone. No invite. Joe Nanai of Nanai Consulting. Just waiting for confirmation that you guys can hear me. Clear as mud, buddy. Cool. Paulie, thank you for that. So guys, today's topic is how do you deal with gatekeepers? Michael Kovic there knows how to deal with gatekeepers, as he is another salesperson who deals with gatekeepers on a daily basis like myself. I typically have 10, well, there's a lot of ways in which you can deal with gatekeepers. But before we get into that and how I deal with gatekeepers, what exactly is a gatekeeper? A gatekeeper is basically somebody who has access to a decision maker of the business that you're calling on, whether it be a phone call or a visit out of the blue, and essentially can be the person that blocks you or gives you that access to the deal maker or decision maker, sorry. And I've, over my however many years that I've been in sales, have come across quite a few ways in which I deal with gatekeepers, and I still do to this day. And before I share those with you, gatekeepers can also come in the form of, let's say for instance, you've gone up to a place that you've never been to before, you come across a security guard or someone who has a role in the business or the company that you're approaching that can either turn you away or give you directions to the right person, put you in contact with the right person. I have 10, if not 11 strategies in particular that I use all the time and how I deal with gatekeepers. What's up, James, Robert, Ogilvy, Bull, Hazley, Solomona, Moni Toleafo, Peter Malfau, Tayo Manuia, brother. And the first strategy that I use when it comes to dealing with gatekeepers is I call and ask for the sales department. Being that you are typically a salesperson or you're a business owner, by asking for the sales department and getting put through to the sales department, which is usually pretty easy for a gatekeeper to do because sales department aren't usually the decision makers that you're after. They are fellow salespeople who go through the same challenges that you do, having to try and get past gatekeepers, and they're more than willing to help once they figure out that you're a salesperson as well. And talking with salespeople can actually be an excellent approach. It's amazing how one salesperson will be willing to help out another. So when asking for assistance, be sure to offer to help them in finding potential leads and contacts as well, because it's got to be a two-way thing, right? Give value, get value. So rather than asking the gatekeeper for the person you want to speak to, begin the call by asking them, the same questions you would ask your prospect, which, that is the second way in which I deal with gatekeepers. treating them like they are actually the decision maker. What does that do? What it actually does is it lets them know that they aren't the decision maker, and your questions are too hard for them to answer at face value. What's up, Bama Patia, who's just joined? And they end up they wind up connecting you with the right person anyway. So that's strategy number 2 that I take out of many strategies that are available to people, but these are the ones I find most effective. Number 3 is quite a good one because just of the timing, because you're more than likely to get the decision maker at a time that they are available. So calling before 8 a.m. or in New Zealand, you'd call before 8:30 or calling after 5 p.m. And by doing this, you're more than likely to get them at a time when the gatekeepers aren't actually in to take the call, because gatekeepers generally start working from 9 until 5. And if you're calling before 9 or calling before 8 a.m., when a gatekeeper's actually in, because when a decision maker's actually in, because decision makers are actually they're starting earlier than everybody else and they're finishing later than everybody else, because it's their business, or 2, they're a vital stakeholder in the business and they have to make sure that they're well prepared for the day or even the next day. What's up, Alberto? How are you, brother? Mike Butty. Strategy number 4 for me is when there's a school holidays or there's a public holiday, or in the UK it's called bank holidays. When there's holidays or a holiday week, it's always good to call gatekeepers around that time, because that's the best time to do your fact finding. They're more than likely to want to have a conversation with you and help you out and give you a heads up whether you're calling at the right time of year, whether it's a good time for the business, and actually be honest and open about it. So calling during holiday weeks when their bosses are away, especially when it comes to EAs who are gatekeepers. An EA is an executive assistant, and they're usually the ones who have the most influence in any business, because they look after not only the CEO of the business, they look after all the key stakeholders, and they actually delegate all the operational tasks that need to be done. What's up, Lucky Leota? How are you, brother? Strategy number 5 that I use on a daily basis and have found to be effective is calling 1 or 2 digits off from the phone number that I've been calling. What do I mean by that? Big businesses usually have different departments, and when you're calling the generic office number, which is the number you'll find on their website, calling 1 or 2 numbers off that is usually the variant for a CEO's office or decision maker's office. It could be a chief financial officer or the actual person you're trying to get hold of. And by doing this, even if you land in a different department, they're more than willing to help you. So that's one tactic you could deploy. Number 6, call and ask for the accounts receivables department. Every business has an accounts receivables department. They sometimes have different names, but accounts receivables is usually known by the receptionist or whoever it is that is a gatekeeper that answers the phones. In the UK, it's called a switchboard. In New Zealand, however, it's usually a receptionist or a personal assistant. And when you call for accounts receivables, they're always going to have an accounts receivables team who take the money. Everyone wants to be paid, and when you're asking for accounts receivables, you get put through straight away because no company wants to not get paid. Another strategy, and then once you get to accounts receivables, you do what you've been doing with the sales department and all the rest. You ask questions like, who would be the best person to speak to? Well, just quickly apologize. Hey, seems like I've been put through to the wrong department, but I'm actually looking for whoever looks after your, and whatever it is that you're calling about. It could be, who looks after your travel, who looks after your sales training, who looks after your, whatever it is, whatever product or service that you have. Another strategy number 7 that I use is call at different times of day or over lunch. Everyone takes breaks, right? And many times the person who relieves the gatekeeper for lunch and or breaks does not take the same approach as the gatekeeper would. So that person who's filling in may very well put you through because they've not been given the training or have not been given the task by the gatekeeper who's just hungry or needs to get out of the office for an emergency. They're not given the task to block you with the typical 3 or 4 questions that a gatekeeper asks. What does a gatekeeper want from you in terms of information? Who are you? Are you known to the person you're asking for? What business are you representing? And was this call expected? Those are the 4 key questions that a gatekeeper wants to know and wants to answer before putting you through or fobbing you off with a typical, please hold the line, come back on to the line a few seconds later, only to tell you, so-and-so is in a meeting, so-and-so is not available at this time. Can I take a message with your name and your number and your company? And then they screen you or they block you. So the next time you call, they know exactly who you are and that you're a cold caller. So be wary of that particular tactic by gatekeepers. Gatekeepers are very smart. It's always best to be professional with a gatekeeper. Have the approach of being amicable. Build some rapport if you can. A light joke here and there always helps. They know how to differentiate between a rookie salesperson and someone who's just pushy and someone who's worth the time of the person they're asking for. So treat them with respect. What's up, Mikey? Mikey Diamantopoulos. How are you, brother? And that leads me to strategy number 8. Strategy number 8. Let your personality come through. And let your personality come through to allow the gatekeeper to see you as a normal person. Just like them. Normal person is just doing their job, trying to get through to the right person. Number 9, call a different division or location if the company has one. This is something that I still do. Like what I do is I live in Hamilton and typically a head office would be in Auckland. I'll call the Hamilton office first and find out from the Hamilton office who is the best person to speak to in the Auckland office, which is the head office. And what I'll also do is I'll have a couple of qualifying questions for the person in the Hamilton office. You wouldn't happen to know when the next time is that they're going to review there and then go into whatever it is you're trying to sell or trying to introduce to the business. That's a really good tactic as well, because you get more information that way than with the gatekeeper, whose job it is to block you if you come across as a salesperson. So finding different ways as well to not get a canned response. And the gatekeepers are the kings and queens of canned responses. Another one, or strategy number 9 that I use is, number 10. Don't allow one rejection by a gatekeeper to stop you from calling again. How is this a strategy? Well, it's talking about persistence, right? It's talking about, sure, you got shut down on this phone call, and a few days later, they will have had a 10, 20, 30, 40 phone calls, and they won't remember the phone call that you made on Monday. What's up, Paul? Bueno, Paul, papali. What's up, brother? So, this goes back to my live video that I did on rejection. Just don't allow one rejection by the gatekeeper to put you off your game. Persistence can and will pay off in the end. What's up, Willie Huffle? Willie Huffle from Huffle House in Tonga. What's up, brother? Yeah, so the bonus strategy I have is I never take anything personally. Taking things personally is the wrong way to deal with anything, really. Be calm, be professional. Always look at it as, okay, whatever their response is, it's due to the fact that something's going on their end. It's got nothing to do with you as a salesperson. They don't know you. So, they can't judge you on, I'm well experienced with the rejection. And Mikey, I think that's the reason why. I think that's the reason why you're so successful, Mikey, is because you're experienced with rejection, you learn from it. And the best salespeople in the world are experienced with rejection. I believe rejection is something that nobody likes to get, but I think it's a vital part in the learning process when it comes to sales. Roger Whakarongo and Ray Allo have joined. What's up, brothers? So yeah, if you have any questions on that, if you allow rejection by a gatekeeper or anybody to negatively impact you, there's little chance you'll ever be successful. And that, that's pure logic, really. Kia ora, Blue Steel. Oh no, Mr. Fact Checker is here. So yeah, guys, that's my typical strategies that I use when it comes to dealing with gatekeepers. Gatekeepers are human beings just like us, and it's best to take the strategy of treating them as such. They're human beings. Find a way to not get a canned response. Don't say the same thing that everybody else is saying to them. And please, 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 don't ask them how they are today, because that will get you the worst canned responses. They'll get their back up, and they'll put you in a box with every other salesperson that's ever called them. Oh no, it's another telemarketer. Oh no, it's another salesperson trying to push for an appointment with a decision maker when we don't know who they are, we don't know what they do, we don't trust them, we don't know how much they cost, we don't know if there is a need for their services, we don't have an urgency to talk to them. Why should we trust them? Yaka, what's up, brother? So, that is the end of my day 13, how do you deal with gatekeepers. I will come to you again very soon with day 14. But Anthony, that one was specifically for you because you shared with me a challenge that you're going through. And I thought it would be best to tag you on here. So hopefully that's answered your questions to me, Anthony. There are a few of you who are firing questions at me, so awesome. Site visits, okay. Anthony, the best way I deal with site visits, whether they're out of the blue or they're planned, be cool. Show your personality. And what I mean by that is try and start a conversation where you treat them like the prospect you're trying to get through to. Sue Matson, what's up, legend? Nathan Nuwala, Junior Liao. So treating your gatekeepers with respect, and that covers security guards, anybody you come across who has access to the people that you're actually looking for in the business. It always helps to have the name of the person that you're trying to get a hold of as well. You don't want to go in not knowing the name of the person, unless, of course, you're doing a site visit and it's just, hey, I was just in the area and I thought to come and see how you guys are dealing with, and then go into whatever it is your product is or your service is. That always helps build a bit of rapport. And then just, make small talk, but do it in a way that they will see a little bit of your personality, because being in there in the flesh is really powerful. And say something to them like, hey, I suppose you probably deal with a lot of people like me who come up to you and ask for so-and-so, and then just throw in something different, try and make some conversation to help them trust you a little bit, because you're there in the flesh, and that's way more powerful than a phone call will ever be. So, hey, Sas Tangilo, congratulations, brother. What's up, Sabrina? Domley Laws joined. So, yeah. Is there anyone else that has any questions? If you do have any questions and I don't get to them in this live, please do fire it through, like a few of you have already, with challenges that you've asked me to address this month, which are really cool challenges and are challenges that I come across on a regular. So I can definitely answer from my perspective, my years of experience. Lafako, brother. Okay, so cool. I'll leave you with that. But day 13 will be, day 14 will be another cool topic that will speak to not only salespeople, but people in general who have to deal with someone that they have to convince, or someone that has something, whether that be access, decision to change a product or a service to something that's similar to yours. All right, guys. See you real soon. Have a good night or a good day.